Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. I'm Taylor Gonzalez, and my guest today has directed some of my favorite action films, including GoldenEye and Casino Royale, and his upcoming movie Cleaner, starring Daisy Ridley, Taz Skylar, and Clive Owen, hits theaters this Friday, February 21st. I'm so excited to welcome Martin Campbell. Martin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Taylor. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being here. It's an honor to speak with you. I have grown up loving so many of the films that you have directed. And last night I had the privilege of seeing Cleaner, and I had such a blast with it. This film has a stacked cast, like I just mentioned. And someone that stood out to me specifically was Taz Skylar. He not only shaved his head for this role, but he also took up boxing. And I was wondering, as a director, what does it mean to have that kind of dedication from your cast?
Well, first of all, the answer is what it's like. It's terrific. I mean, first of all, apart from the shaved head and so forth, um, he was, uh, he worked really hard on the part, himself. He worked very hard on it to make it convincing. He looks terrific. He's a new face. That's what's so interesting to most people. I know he's been on the TV series, but to most people, I think he's a new face, and I think he's got a very interesting persona on screen. The guy is such an interesting character in the story that he goes from being an eco-terrorist part of the Clive Owen character's team, and ultimately, of course, takes it over, if you will, and kind of borders on the psychotic by the end of it. So he worked very hard, and it was a great pleasure with him. I think he's got a future, that guy.
Oh yeah, I loved him in One Piece and I loved him in this. And it was a crazy journey to see his character from the beginning of the film to the end of the film. Loved seeing that transformation for him. Speaking of dedication, Daisy Ridley is another actor who I love in everything that she does. And she does some very intense action sequences in this film. Can you talk a little bit about the collaboration process with her on coming up with these action sequences?
Well, listen, when someone like Daisy or whoever the actress is, or even the actor, the point is that if they're prepared to commit and do the work and the rehearsal, right, then they'll do it very well. But action is not for everybody in terms of actors, because a lot of actors, for example, will use a double, right, to double. Daisy didn't really have a double. She did, but I would say 95%, even a little bit more, she did all that fighting herself. And she trained very hard for it. And she just went for it. And I thought she did a terrific job. And the great thing for me was that I didn't have to, I barely had to double her, which meant that I could shoot the way I wanted to shoot it without having to avoid face. So you get all sorts of tricks in action. You know how to when you're doubling action or doubling actors, right? The you learn the tricks of how to avoid seeing their faces, and how you photograph it and so forth. It was a great pleasure just to not have that problem,
No, yeah, it
and
totally
shoot
translates.
it for real, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, she was excellent, and I would love to see more of this type of genre for her. Getting, the heavy action sequences from her was great. I gotta ask, what was it like getting to reunite with Clive Owen on this project?
Well, Clive Owen and I go way back to 2000 when I did Beyond Borders, and he and I. And first of all, he's a terrific actor, and he and I have a hell of a lot of laughs. I mean, he's a very funny guy, Clive Owen. He really should be in comedy. I mean, the guy's always playing these serious roles. But what he did bring to it was a certain kind of levity. He has a kind of, when he's talking to the hostages, he's almost seducing them. He's kind of, he's very entertaining in the part. He's not someone who is going to bully them, threaten them, right? Far better that he kind of uses it you know, almost as a seduction, almost kind of, you actually like him, you know, and look, morally speaking, what he's doing, I think, is absolutely correct. I mean, they deserve everything they get, that company, right? The energy company. Um, so no, it was great working with him again.
Oh, yeah, it's so cool to see you guys reunited. So
Yeah.
without giving too much away with this film, there's a couple references to the MCU sprinkled throughout the film. And I was just curious if you were given the opportunity to direct a film in the MCU on any character, is there a specific character that you would want to choose?
You're talking about Marvel?
Yes.
Yeah, I absolutely not. Look, I did Green Lantern.
Mhm.
Nobody liked that. So to hell with it. I'm not going to, I would be absolutely the wrong person to do it. So no is the answer to that.
Well, I did like
Although
the references.
I have to say that you know, I do go and see them, and a lot of them are just not very good. But the good ones, right, are great. I mean, I loved the Avengers, the final Avengers. I thought was a tremendous picture, right?
Mm,
Thought
yeah.
was really great. But I have to say, some of the others were very disappointing, I thought.
Mm. And then I wanted to ask, there's a lot of high intensity action sequences in this film. Was there a scene that was the most difficult to pull off?
Well, it's a question I was asked by the previous interviewer. The most difficult was her on the cradle in the side of the building was the most difficult stuff, because obviously there was blue screen, right, stroke green screen, but also the safety issues. Look, we didn't go up on the side of a building; it's illegal to do it, and I'm not going to go 700 feet up and you know in the middle of the night and start shooting the damn thing. It's impossible. But nevertheless, the sequences we had to storyboard and work out very carefully. There are safety issues, obviously, with that thing, right? And it was they were the most time consuming and probably the most difficult. The stuff inside is all relatively straightforward. You know, we have there's all the people at the gala, there's the eco warriors that come in, there's all of that. There's lots of running about corridors and stuff like that. But all that is fairly straightforward. But it's the outside of the building to make that in any way convincing was the most difficult, I think.
Yeah, no, it looked great too because I was wondering, I was like, there's no way they did this on a real building, but the green screen, the blue screen, everything, it looked great to me. So you couldn't even tell.
Yeah. What's interesting is that all the, you know, when you're looking over it's all the real stuff actually at the building. We sent the camera crew up on that cradle, and they shot all of that stuff. It was for real, if you see what I mean, at
Mm.
the actual building. We didn't cheat that at all.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it looks incredible. And I really had a blast with this film. Everybody go check this film out. Cleaner, it hits theaters this Friday, February 21st. Martin, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And congratulations on the release.
Thanks very much, Taylor.
Thank you.
Really, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.